Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Man of Law, and this is Shubham Chopra. I am an advocate and I practice in Delhi NCR across various forums including real estate forums, consumer forums, NCLT, NCLAT, Supreme Court of India and the High Court of Delhi. So in today's video, we're going to talk about this term written here which is known as jurisprudence. So jurisprudence is a subject that we read in our law schools, and most law schools this subject is taught in our initial years of study. So for example, I did 3 years law and it was taught to me in the first semester itself. So basically it is a very important subject. It is the basics of the law study that we do, and it is a very important subject if you want to become a good lawyer or good advocate. There is a very slight difference between an advocate and a good advocate. So the actual difference between an advocate and good advocate is an advocate might or might not be earning a lot of money. So if you are an advocate, it might be possible or plausible that you'll be earning, let's say, 15 lakhs a month or maybe more than that, and basically you're printing money. But the difference between an advocate and good advocate is, and a good advocate will always be able to interpret the laws better than this category of advocates. And I know there are a lot of law students who are very enthusiastic about the study of law, and they just don't want to settle for less. They just don't want to settle for being an advocate, and they want to be a really good advocate. Most of the law students will be becoming judges and will be joining judiciary. Ultimately, if you are joining judiciary and will becoming a judge, it is very important, it is pertinent, it becomes pertinent that you interpret the laws in a way which is better than most of the other people practicing out there. So in these circumstances this become very important that we understand this particular term very well, that we study this particular subject really well, so that we can become one good advocates, we can become good judges or a lawmaker. And why I'm saying that, why the study of this subject becomes really important when it comes to becoming a good advocate, good judge. So let us just study what is this subject and why I'm saying that this is so important, that this is going to help you in your future career. So let's just start. Now, before delving deeper into the subject, let us just know what the subject is all about. So, jurisprudence is a word that most of us are hearing for the very first time in their life. So, for example, this word jurisprudence, what does it actually means? Because I am studying this term or I am reading this term for the very first time in my life. I have never heard this term before I joined this course, and this term popped up to me because I have to study it mandatorily now. So what is this word jurisprudence? So basically, jurisprudence has its origins. What are its origins? It is coming from a Latin term. It's a Latin word, and that Latin word is jurisprudentia. Now, this jurisprudentia is a Latin term. Now, this jurisprudentia, if we can bifurcate it, it can be bifurcated into two smaller terms. So, basically, we can bifurcate it into smaller terms. What are these two terms? One is juris, and the other term is prudentia. So, basically, juris means law. And what does prudentia means? So, prudentia means skill or knowledge. Now, if I combine these two words and make a new word called jurisprudentia, so what does it mean? So it simply means knowledge of law. So jurisprudentia means knowledge of law, and this word jurisprudence actually was flowing from the word jurisprudentia. So I can say that jurisprudence signifies knowledge of law. Now just remember, this is very basic meaning of this term jurisprudence. The question arises, why we are studying this? What is the purpose of us studying this term and studying this term as a whole subject? This whole subject is named as jurisprudence, and some people who have already started studying it might find it a little more theoretical. They would say that we really don't like the subject, they are not very interested in the subject, because there are a lot of definitions that we have to learn when it comes to this particular subject called jurisprudence, right? But total contradiction to that, jurisprudence actually is a very, very interesting subject. The question arises how the study of this term or this subject is going to help me as a lawyer or a law student or maybe a lawmaker or maybe a judge. So basically, jurisprudence is study of law. It studies about what law is or what law can be or what law ought to be. There are different schools of jurisprudence who study different aspects of law. But let me give you a very simple example. Let's say if you become a lawmaker and a challenge comes to you that you have to make or redraft criminal laws. Now, one thing common about criminal laws is that they talk about punishment. As in, you do one thing which is wrong, which is regarded as a crime in society, you are gonna be punished for that. Now the punishment can come in different aspects. So it can be you can be sent to jail, or there can be a fine, or there can be either jail or fine. And even the jail or basically confinement can also be simple imprisonment, or it can be rigorous imprisonment, right? So there can be various forms of punishment. Now, or maybe a new kind of punishment is social services, which is very prevalent, and in states like USA, in countries like USA. So basically where you do some petty crimes and then you have to do a number of hours, you have to do social services for this much hours, and then that is a basic punishment, right? In India also this is a trend. So for very petty crimes we have seen some high courts. So for example, High Court of Delhi, and the punishment is basically you have to plant trees. So yeah, so this is one new kind of punishment. But let's say, getting back to it, you were the lawmaker, you had to draft the criminal laws, and while you're drafting criminal laws, this punishment plays an important role, because ultimately one who is going to do crime has to be punished. But if I say, if you don't know what purpose this punishment is serving, you won't be able to draft very good laws. So for example, when you study jurisprudence, you study the purpose of the punishment. You study why this punishment is needed at all. And there are various theories. Some theories say that this punishment is given. Why do we penalize the criminals? It is to deter them. It is to deter others. For example, let's say person A steals a purse or steals some money, I will punish him and I will give him a harsh punishment so that he is punished. One, it serves the purpose, and second, because the punishment was so heavy that other people will deter, and other people will not commit the same crime. So this is one theory of punishment, why we give punishment. There are multiple theories. So basically what jurisprudence does is, jurisprudence forces us to study what is the implication, what is the law, why the law is made for, what will be the implication of the law in the society, and all these things we study in jurisprudence. So let me give you an example. So in England, what used to happen, that pickpocketing was a trend in early centuries in England. So the trends of pickpocketing were actually growing. There were a lot of pickpocketers, and stealing was a common thing way back then. So basically the government decided that we are gonna punish the criminals. We're gonna punish them with a very heavy punishment. For a petty crime, what we're gonna do, we're gonna give you a death sentence, and just not very normal death sentence. We're gonna tell public to throw stones at you, so pelting stones, right? And we'll kill you like that. So what used to happen is that there will be huge gatherings where the accused was getting punished in public, and the public people would be called to throw and pelt stones at this guy, so the other guys or the other criminals get deterred, right? They get deterred and they would not do it. But you know what used to happen, that in these very gatherings, other criminals used to steal money and did the crimes of pickpocketing. So, though the purpose of this statement was to deter others from doing the same crime, but this was not serving any purpose because the sentence was too high or too heavy that other people were like, okay, we are anyhow gonna get death sentence, but we're gonna do the stealing part. So it was not able to actually deter people, and in these mass gatherings only the crime was taking place. So basically all these aspects of it, why laws are made, what purpose they will serve, are they going to be effective or not. So for example, in India and in USA, if we implement the same law, it might happen that in India nobody will follow that law, but in USA that particular law is followed by almost masses. It is a win in USA, but in India it doesn't work at all. So why did it happen? So it depends upon a lot of things. So for example, in India, let's say for a very long time polygamy was a crime, but in USA or in many cultures, polygamy is not a crime at all, right? So calling an Indian perspective, from an Indian perspective, a student might say, oh, polygamy is a crime. But if it goes to certain tribes in Africa or somewhere else, he will say that is very common and that is a lifestyle in, and calling polygamy a crime there would be a crime in itself because that's the part of their life, right? So jurisprudence, we study all these things, we study all these aspects, right? And that is why we study jurisprudence. If we study jurisprudence well, we'll be able to understand the basic nuances of law. So a law which is written, which is there, it is there for everybody, but how you would interpret it and how you would be able to make your point of view understandable to others. Let's say you are an advocate, and as I practice real estate law a lot, and you are practicing real estate, okay, you are a real estate practitioner. Now even judges also have studied the same law, but it becomes the lawyer's duty to make them understand, or to make them understand, no, that law is made for this purpose and it has to be interpreted in this way. And you will convince the judges. Your whole job as a lawyer is to convince the judges. And how you will convince the judges? When you interpret the law in a way the judge was not able to do that, you're going to give a new perspective to it. And how you're going to do it? If you study jurisprudence well. So that's the whole purpose of studying jurisprudence. That was the basic meaning of jurisprudence we studied today. This is just the first part. I'll be coming with many parts. There is a lot to study in this subject. I hope it will help you out clearing your exam. It will help you in becoming a better lawyer, right? And that is what my purpose is through this video series. I'll be coming up with such more videos. Hope you like the today's video. If you really like really like today's video, you can comment upon it. You can literally ask me to make videos on different topics, right? And I'll be coming with different topics. If you're not able to understand a concept, for example, I made some very small videos on SLP. They are on YouTube Shorts, and they are I have posted them on Instagram Reels as well. And I have gotten a very good feedback that they were not able to understand this concept of SLP in law school, but then through video it has become like very they are able to understand it now in a better way. I don't know how much they understand it, but then yeah, as I have like gotten the feedback of, so there might be many topics in law school you might not be understanding, so you can literally send a request in the comment section, and I'll try to cover that up for you. This was all about today's videos. Thank you for joining in. Hope if you like the video, please like it, leave your comments, leave your feedbacks, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be coming up with more videos like that. Thank you.